There are 4 things you must do on December 8th if you want to live an entire year under Mary's protection. December 8th is the day when God himself broke every rule of sin and death to create a woman who would crush the head of the serpent before the battle even began. This is the feast of the Immaculate Conception. And if you really understood what happened on this day, if you could see what the saints see, if you knew what Father Pio knew about this sacred date, you would never let it pass by like any other day. Listen closely. This isn't just church talk. This isn't just religious poetry. This is spiritual warfare at its most powerful level. Because on December 8th, something shifts in the invisible world. Graces pour down that don't come any other time of year. Doors open that normally stay locked. Mary's mantle extends further, her protection grows stronger, and her intercession carries a force that even hell trembles before. Padre Pio used to say that no one should live the feast of the Immaculate Conception as if it were just another day, because God grants graces on this day that don't repeat themselves. Because the Virgin is closer, more present, more ready to hear you. Because what you ask for with faith on this day carries a different weight, a different urgency, a different power. And here's what I need you to do right now. In the comments below, write down your intention for this December 8th. Write the name of someone you want to place under Mary's mantle. Write your petition. Write your pain. Write the miracle you're hoping for. Nothing is too small for her. Nothing is impossible, because I'm about to share with you 4 things you must do on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. These aren't just nice spiritual practices. These aren't superstitions or empty traditions. These are powerful acts that open doors, seal your home, cleanse your soul, and attract blessings that only pour down on this day. Father Pio lived these practices. The saints taught them. And those who truly understand Mary's power never skip them. So stay with me. Listen carefully. Because what you're about to discover could change everything about how you experience this sacred day and the entire year that follows. So why is December 8th so powerful? What makes this day different from every other feast we celebrate throughout the year? Here's the truth that most people miss. We're not celebrating something Mary did. We're celebrating something God did for her before she even took her first breath, before she opened her eyes, before she existed in time. From all eternity, God looked at this one woman and said she will be conceived without sin. Think about that for a second. Every single human being born into this world since Adam and Eve has carried the mark of the fall. Every single person except one, Mary. She was created pure, spotless, untouched by the darkness that runs through the rest of humanity's bloodline. And that moment, that singular moment when God spoke that decree, changed absolutely everything. Because right there, Satan heard the sound of his own defeat. Right there, the serpent realized he'd already lost the war. A woman was coming who would be completely beyond his reach, completely immune to his poison, and she would bring forth the one who would crush him forever. That's why hell hates December 8th. That's why this day carries such spiritual weight, because it marks the beginning of Satan's destruction. Father Pio understood this better than most. He knew that Mary's Immaculate Conception wasn't just a beautiful doctrine or a theological concept to admire from a distance. It was a weapon. It was a shield. It was the first victory in the battle for every human soul that would ever exist. And here's what he taught that blew people's minds. He said that on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, Mary's protection becomes more active. The graces that flow through her hands on this day don't come the same way on other days. There's a freshness to them, an urgency, a power that you can actually feel if you're paying attention. It's like the whole spiritual atmosphere shifts. Angels receive different orders. Prayers rise faster. Petitions land with more force. And Mary herself walks closer to those who call on her, ready to wrap them in protection that lasts the entire year. So when I tell you there are 4 things you must do on December 8th, I'm not giving you optional devotions or nice ideas to consider. I'm giving you spiritual tools that the saints used, that Father Pio lived by, that have opened heaven for countless souls who took them seriously. Are you ready? Then let's begin with the first one. The first thing Father Pio insisted on, the practice he repeated with an intensity that burned into people's hearts, was this: pray the complete rosary on December 8th in honor of Mary's purity, all 5 decades, all the mysteries, from beginning to end. Now I know what you're thinking. Maybe you've never prayed a full rosary before. Maybe you're thinking you don't have time. Maybe the idea of sitting down for that long feels impossible with everything else going on in your life. But here's what you need to understand. The rosary on December 8th doesn't work like it does on any other day. It's not just a prayer. It becomes a seal around your home, a shield over your family, a crown you're placing directly into Mary's hands on the one day she celebrates her greatest gift from God. Father Pio was crystal clear about this. He said whoever honors Mary in her purity receives from her a special protection throughout the entire year, not just for that day, the whole year. Every single month that follows carries the mark of what you did on December 8th. Why the complete rosary? Because each mystery becomes a living offering. Each Hail Mary you speak on this feast rises to heaven with extra light, extra power. Each decade transforms into a defense against attacks you don't even know are coming. Think of it like this. When you build a fence around your property, you don't just put up 3 posts and call it done. You complete the circle. The rosary on December 8th completes a spiritual circle of protection that nothing can penetrate. And while you're praying, something happens in the invisible world. You might not see it, but you'll sense it. The atmosphere in the room changes. A gentle peace settles in. You feel a presence, warm and luminous, wrapping around you. That's Mary drawing close. She's listening. She's gathering every word like flowers you're placing on her altar. Here's how to do it. Find a quiet spot where you won't be interrupted. If you can, pray at least 1 decade on your knees. Not because you have to, but because it's a gesture of love. And when you finish the entire rosary, say this simple prayer: Immaculate Mother, take who I am. Make me into whatever you want. That gesture, spoken on December 8th, carries a power that doesn't repeat itself any other day of the year. Trust me on this. I remember hearing about a woman who had been struggling with anxiety for years. Nothing seemed to help. Then someone told her about praying the full rosary on the feast of the Immaculate Conception. She didn't really believe it would make a difference, but she figured it couldn't hurt. She prayed it on her knees in her living room, decade by decade, slowly and intentionally. And about halfway through, she felt something lift off her shoulders, literally felt it. Like a weight she'd been carrying for so long suddenly disappeared. The anxiety didn't vanish completely overnight, but from that day forward, it lost its grip on her. She could breathe again. She could sleep again. And she never missed praying the rosary on December 8th after that. That's the kind of power we're talking about here. Real protection, real transformation, real peace that enters your life and refuses to leave. So don't skip this. Don't tell yourself you'll do it later or that a few decades are good enough. December 8th deserves your full attention, your complete offering. Give Mary the crown she deserves on her feast day and watch what she does with it. Now let's move to the second thing you need to do. The second thing you must do on December 8th is something most priests don't talk about, but the saints understood it deeply. You need to spiritually cleanse your home. And no, I'm not talking about dusting the shelves or mopping the floors. I'm talking about removing anything that blocks grace from flowing freely through your space. Father Pio was absolutely clear on this. He said some objects carry shadows with them, others bring exhaustion, Others create anxiety for no apparent reason, and way too many Catholics live surrounded by things that contaminate the soul without even realizing it. You know that feeling when you walk into certain rooms and just feel heavy, or when you can't explain why a particular corner of your house makes you uneasy. That's not random. That's your spirit picking up on something your eyes can't see. December 8th is the perfect day to deal with this, because Mary doesn't dwell in disorder. Her presence attracts light, clarity, order. And on her feast day, there's a grace that pours down specifically to help you clean out what doesn't belong. So here's what needs to go. Broken things that you've been holding on to for no good reason. Damaged objects that serve no purpose. Gifts from people who hurt you. Clocks that stopped working years ago. Photos that chain you to a past you need to let go of. Decorations that disturb your peace or make you feel sad without knowing why. Anything in your home that drains your energy instead of lifting it. Why remove them specifically on December 8th? Because Mary's purity attracts purity. When you clear out the clutter on her feast day, you're making space for her to fill your home with something better. Here's exactly how to do it. Walk through your house slowly, room by room. Pay attention to what catches your eye, what feels off, what you've been meaning to deal with but kept putting off. Gather those things, don't overthink it. If something makes you hesitate, if you feel even a slight unease about keeping it, that's your answer. Once you've removed what needs to go, take holy water and bless every room. Don't rush this part. Go methodically, one space at a time. Sprinkle the water in the corners, along the walls, near the windows and doors. And while you're doing it, pray this simple prayer. Immaculate Mary, Queen of my home, purify it with your grace. The testimonies about this practice are remarkable. People report that after doing this on December 8th, their homes feel completely different, lighter, cleaner, like something dark that had been lingering finally left. This isn't superstition. This is spiritual housekeeping, and it works because you're doing it on the one day when Mary's power to purify is at its peak. Don't ignore this step. Your home is where you live, where you pray, where your family gathers. It deserves to be a sanctuary. And speaking of tools that can transform your spiritual life, I want to share something powerful with you. It's called The Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio. This resource will help you pray the Rosary with more devotion, discover the miracles and testimonies of those who've experienced its power, learn Padre Pio's most impactful teachings about prayer, receive a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions, and access special prayers for protection, healing, and freedom. The Rosary was Padre Pio's greatest weapon, and today it can be yours too. To download it, just click the link pinned in the comments. Now, let's talk about the third thing you need to do on December 8th. The third thing you must do on December 8th, and this is one of the most powerful practices for this day, is to examine your conscience with a focus on purity of heart, not just the obvious sins, not just the things you know you did wrong. I'm talking about the hidden stuff, the wounds you're carrying, the twisted intentions you haven't dealt with, the resentments you're feeding, the words that cut others down. Why does this examination matter so much on December 8th? Because Mary is the only human being ever created completely pure, not just in body, but in heart, in mind, in intention. When you bring your shadows before God on her feast day, something supernatural happens. The stains break more easily. The chains lose their grip. The wounds start to heal faster. Here's what Padre Pio taught that most people miss. He said, humility opens doors that strength never can. And December 8th is the perfect day for that kind of opening. The perfect day to stop pretending you've got it all together and just lay it all out before God. If you can go to confession on this day, do it. There's something about receiving absolution on the feast of the Immaculate Conception that carries extra weight. But if you can't physically get to a priest, make a spiritual confession, a real one. Not a quick, shallow rundown of surface mistakes. Go deep, be honest, be brave. Sit somewhere quiet and ask yourself the hard questions. Where am I holding on to bitterness? Who haven't I forgiven? What parts of my life am I keeping hidden from God? What words have I spoken that I wish I could take back? What thoughts keep circling in my mind that I know aren't from Him? Write them down if it helps. Speak them out loud if you need to. And then pray this: wash away everything in me that doesn't look like Mary. Break whatever doesn't come from you. That prayer, said on December 8th, gets heard with special tenderness. God looks at you through Mary's eyes on this day, and her eyes see past the mess to the person He created you to be. She doesn't condemn. She doesn't shame. She just gently helps you let go of what's weighing you down. This isn't about beating yourself up. This is about freedom. This is about walking into the rest of the year without dragging chains behind you. And there's no better day to cut those chains than the day we celebrate the woman who was born free of them. So take this step seriously. Give yourself the gift of honesty on December 8th. Let Mary's purity inspire yours. Let God's mercy wash over the parts of you that need it most. You'll feel lighter afterward, cleaner, ready for whatever comes next. And now, the fourth thing. This is the most important one, the one that will mark your entire year. The fourth thing, the most crucial practice of all, the one that will literally shape your entire year, is to renew your personal consecration to the Virgin Mary on December 8th, even if you've already done it before. Even if you don't have some fancy formula or a perfectly written prayer, even if you think you don't know how to do it right, none of that matters. What matters is that you give yourself to her. Consecration isn't a one-time event. It's not something you check off a list and forget about. It's a living relationship that needs to be refreshed, renewed, deepened. And December 8th is the absolute best day to do that, because you're consecrating yourself to Mary on the very day we celebrate what made her who she is. You don't need a book. You don't need a special ceremony. You just need your heart and your willingness to say yes. Here's how simple it can be. Speak these words, or something like them, straight from your heart. Immaculate Virgin, today I give myself completely to you. My mind, my voice, my steps, my fears, my wounds, my family, my plans, my struggles, and my dreams. Take me, purify me, guide me, protect me, never let me go. That's it. That's all you need. But when you speak those words on December 8th, something happens that the mystics describe. Mary places a spiritual seal over you, a mark of protection that guards your path, blocks spiritual attacks, draws down maternal blessings, brings order to your life, and illuminates every decision you'll make throughout the year. Don't underestimate this step. It's the most powerful of all four practices we've covered. This is the moment when you stop trying to handle everything alone and let the Mother of God take over. And trust me, she's way better at running your life than you are. If you can, light a white candle in your home on December 8th, even just for a few minutes. It's a symbol of your desire to reflect Mary's purity. It's not superstition. It's a gesture of love, a visible sign of an invisible commitment. Now I want you to do something. In the comments below, write these words: Immaculate Mary, cover me with your mantle. Write it, declare it, give your life into her hands, because December 8th isn't just another day. It's the day when God told the entire universe that victory begins with her. Don't let it pass by like any other date on the calendar. Live these four practices with real faith. Pray the complete rosary. Cleanse your home spiritually. Examine your conscience honestly. Renew your consecration wholeheartedly. Do these things, and you'll see miracles you never imagined. So there you have it. 4 practices that can transform December 8th from just another feast day into a moment that marks your entire year. The complete rosary that seals your home with protection. the spiritual cleansing that makes space for grace to flow freely, the honest examination of conscience that sets you free from hidden chains, and the renewed consecration that places Mary's seal over everything you are. Father Pio lived these truths. The saints treasured them, and now you know them too. December 8th is when heaven declares that victory doesn't start with our strength or our perfection. It starts with her, with the Immaculate One who crushed the serpent's head before the battle even began, with the Mother who stands ready to wrap you in protection that nothing can break. If these teachings touched your heart, do me a favor. Write thank you in the comments. Your simple gesture helps this message reach more people who desperately need to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. We're building a community here, a family of believers who take their faith seriously and want to grow closer to God through Mary's intercession. This isn't just content, this is a mission, and we can't do it without you. Your support, your prayers, your engagement, they all matter more than you know. Remember, December 8th isn't just a date, it's a doorway. Walk through it with faith and watch what God does in your life. May the Immaculate Virgin cover you with her mantle today and always.